This is a DIY video on how to dye your own clothes in an eco-friendly way. Today we will be needing a plain white t-shirt, a pot, salt, and a natural dye of your choice. Today we'll be using strawberries, but you can use other things such as coffee grounds, other berries, roots, and I will provide a list for you to look at that. First, we need to soak the shirt in a fixative. If you're doing berries, this will include half a cup of salt and 8 cups of water. We're going to boil it and then soak the shirt for an hour. Now that the water and salt are boiling, I'm going to put the shirt in and let it simmer for about an hour. Make sure you stir the shirt every now and again just to make sure that all of it gets covered in the fixture. Okay, once you've boiled the shirt in the fixative, rinse it off in cold water. Once you've rinsed the shirt, make sure to squeeze it out completely before you put it into your dye mixture. Now it's time to make the dye mixture. So we're going to be using strawberries, so you want to use twice the amount of water than the amount of berries we're using. So today we're using about 4 cups of berries, so that means we're using about 8 cups of water. What you do is you just break up the fruit and you just put it in the water into like little pieces. Now that all the strawberries are broken up into the water, we're going to boil them for about an hour. Once the dye mixture is done boiling, you're going to pour it into a strainer to get all of the gunk out of it. You probably won't be able to get all of the particles of leftover strawberry out of the dye fixture, but just make sure you get the majority. You don't want any big clumps on your t-shirt or anything. Okay, so finally you take your shirt that has been soaked in the salt fixture and you put it in the dye bath. And you're gonna soak it for a really long time basically. The longer you leave it in, the stronger the color is gonna be. So with strawberry, it's gonna turn like a pink color. So I'm gonna leave it in overnight just to make sure it's really strong. It's important to make sure that all of the shirt is covered with the solution so that you don't get splotchy parts or just parts that are generally darker than the others. Unless you do want that effect, then keep it up. I guess some people might want that effect, I don't know. So we've been soaking the shirt for about 24 hours, so now we're gonna rinse it off. But you can also soak it for 12 hours and get similar results. Completely. So this is the finished product. It came out a little faded, which is partially due to me leaving it out in the sun, which wasn't very smart. I didn't really think about it. You can kind of see the line right here to where it's darker on the bottom and then a little bit lighter on the top. but you're probably never going to get perfect results. You can see there's some parts that are a little darker than others, but you know, it still came out really nice and pink, and you're obviously not going to get the same vibrancy that you would from a chemical dye, but it's still pink. And if you want to leave it in the dye bath for 2 days to get an even more vibrant color, then you can. Just the longer you leave it, the more vibrant the color. But here it is, the final product.